Hi everyone, today we are doing a look that started off as soft and brittle, but somehow turned into something way more glam and glazed. Basically, our favorite kind of transformation. Let's get into it. Here is our beautiful model, and of course we are starting with the skin prep. I'm using micellar water and exfoliating pads. You guys already know I'm obsessed with this kind of prep. First, I go in with the smooth side, which has gentle exit for exfoliation, and then I flip to the textured side to give the skin a little more polish. For the lips, I'm applying a lip oil. I love hydrating the lips with the oils rather than the balms. Then I go in with the milky essence from Rhoad. It gives that gorgeous glazed skin effect right from the skincare step. Our model has combination skin, so her T-zone tends to get oily. I'm using my favorite matte primer from Laura. It's silicone-free, which I love. Now, for the brows, I like to lighten it up a bit, especially since she's rocking warm tone to bleached hair. Now let's mix the base. I'm using Dior Backstage. I know some people don't love it, but I honestly do. It's super lightweight, buildable, and has up to 24 hours wear. So I'm mixing it with a darker concealer, also from Dior 5N. The texture is a bit different. It has a lot of natural ingredients, so it blends a little differently from your usual foundations. Just make sure to avoid any silicone-based skincare underneath. It has a beautiful glow, but it takes a minute to set. So I apply it in sections. Let one area sit while I work on the next. I always layer everything with setting spray. For that glazed skin look, I'm using the UV set from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It sets makeup nicely while adding a soft glow. I'm using Dior Forever and soft tackling brush for the under eye area, and to conceal, to lighten up the areas on the face, I'm using Dior Backstage again. It's creamy concealer, really pigmented, and works beautifully with almost any base. Also, super long wearing. I'm applying it with a small brush in the classic Hollywood triangle, tapping it in gently. Then I bring a bit down to the chin, under the cheekbones and center of the face, tip of the nose, and just slightly on the forehead. Once the base is set and my spray is dry, look at that glow, it's stunning. Only then I go with the beauty sponge to press everything and perfect the finish. Now I'm applying highlighter. To get that ultra glazed skin, I always apply highlighter on damped, unset skin. Using a natural bristle brush, it gives the best payoff for this kind of texture. Then I lightly set the center of the face with the Hyaluronic Powder from by Terry. It's hydrating and really locks everything in. Tapping motions only, and I'm using a soft krill hairdo brush. Time for contour. Since this look started as bridal, I'm sticking with my bridal go-to, tints. They last forever, look natural and won't budge. You can also use matte liquid lipsticks or anything creamy, matte and quick to set will work. And just make sure to work fast so it doesn't dry down patchy. Since the face is already powdered and has no texture on the cheeks, I love using cream blush sticks even over powder. It amps up the glow and stays put. The powder underneath actually helps lock it in. And when you top it off with powder blush, especially a glowy one, trust me, the shine is next level. So you can always customize it based on how much glow you want. And of course, I lock it all in with the long-wearing setting spray. Now I'm using my go-to shadows from Beauty Creations. It's affordable, long-lasting, and the color range is great. I mostly used the first two shades. The rest are too dark for me, so I softly fill in the brows and then set them with a bit of Anastasia Beverly Hills Blonde Gel, just to bring back definition after the shadow. Using leftover foundation on the flat brush, I clean up under the brows and lightly tone the lids as a base. With white eyeshadows and squirrel hairbrush, I'm creating the eyeshadow contour line. As a light cream eyeshadows, I'm using MAC Paint Point in a shade Painterly. I use a big flat brush for this. No need to be precise. Press it in well and blend upward toward the brow. Next, a pencil from Blonde Sisters. I love this. I have in a few shades and now I'm using it in a shade Macaroon. Sometimes I apply it from the back of my hand for precision, sometimes straight on the lid. It has a built-in sharpener too. Apply it on the outer corner, following your shadow guide, and blend into the crease with soft horizontal strokes and tackle on soft brush. Now I'm using Dior eyeshadows. It's a Dior Backstage eyeshadows in a shade 002. I'm using the lightest shimmer from this palette in the inner corner. Then I'm using the second beige shade. I'm obsessed with this palette. I'm using natural hairbrush. Actually, it's a squirrel hairbrush. It's flat. It's really important what kind of brush you will choose to press, to tap powder eyeshadows onto cream eyeshadows. It's really important. Don't use fluffy brushes. Don't use circle motions on mobile eyelid. It will ruin the whole look. So you should use, for example, pony hairbrush or squirrel hairbrush to press powder eyeshadows onto cream eyeshadows. Try not to use goat hairbrush. It's fluffier, and you will have a lot of fallout with fluffy and goat hairbrush, so it's better to use pony hairbrush or squirrel hairbrush, as I already said, to press the powder eyeshadows. Now a dusty rose shade goes on the outer corner with a little, now it's goat hairbrush, but it's a little fluffy brush and it's really good for outer corner. And I love this kind of brush for this. Pack it on, then softly blend into the orbital area or crease area and lift the shadows a bit higher for that wide and open look. Blend the outer corner edge gently. Since we already have shimmer underneath, it melts beautifully. To deepen the outer corner of the lash line, I use a dark brown with the densely packed squirrel hair brush. Then I clean the inner corners with a light concealer and using Dior palette to highlight inner corners. Don't forget the lash line and upper waterline. I mostly do this for content looks. On clients, I don't always tightline unless needed. Round out the inner corner softly, then I go in with a glitter base. I love the one from Beauty Creations. It's similar to NYX. Now I'm adding Gorgeous Sparkle. It's from Sasha Cosmetics in a shade GG. Apply it with your finger. The look is bold and insta-ready, so we are taking it all the way up to the brow. Then I go in with my favorite Thermo mascara. It only comes off with warm water, not micellar water, ideal for bright and long wear days. For lashes, I'm using Dovetail lashes. It's like small clusters and like Kim Kardashian's look lashes. It's really beautiful and really opens the eyes. It's wonderful. On the lower lid, I apply MAC Paint Point in shade Painterly, using pressing motions and blending slightly outward. Then I set it with the Sandy Matte from the By Mario palette, adding a touch of a lighter shade. I define the outer lower lash line for a soft, lifted effect. Next, I use my go-to setting powder, Huda Beauty in the shade Cupcake. With a small fluffy goat hair brush, I lightly set any textured areas, especially where there are pores. To finish, I use the Hourglass bronzer with a black goat hair brush. We are polishing everything, adding that glazed skin effect. I double up on highlighter to really bring the glow. Notice how luminous the skin looks. That's from building textures thoroughly from the beginning. Next, I'm using a cool toned lip pencil. The shades remind me of a soft cappuccino. I always define the lips, then refine the shape with a wax-based concealer. Even if your outline looks perfect, cleaning up with a precision brush gives that editorial sharpness. For color, I mixed a few lipsticks to get a rich peachy tone, a little contrast to the cool toned eyes, to the little bit lilac eyes. I love this balance, warm lips with cooler eyes. Then I made a gloss on the top of the lips and I used just a touch on the high point of the lips, center of the bottom lip and the peaks of the top. Never all over, just enough to catch the light beautifully. It doesn't bleed, doesn't settle into lines, absolutely perfect. So to lock it all in, I use my go-to setting spray from Alex Avian, incredibly long wearing. And that's it. We've got this high gloss, radiant, glazed skin glam. Notice how the T-zone stays matte while the perimeter it's really glows, yeah? It creates that dimensional ultra luxe effect. This is what I call Insta Glam meets editorial elegance.